Now I'ma shed some light in your dimension. Don't you try to play the victim. You really think you just born to die? Do nothing in the middle. Set fast living, sending money, drugs and women. But what about your purpose, feel vision? Hey mister, you so shallow. How after every gal build them up just to let them down? Once she pregnant with your child, you don't ever come around. Hey girl, you ain't no better, so worried about your shape. You neglect the time it takes to put some knowledge in your brain. Such a shame, man, my generation slaves, but don't know they wrapping chains. And they Michelin tired, short-sighted, can't envision the long range. Put a crown on anything, steady drowning in their pain. Do you know your savior's name? I hope this question inspires change. Where your hope come from? If you can't tell me where your hope come from, tell me what you do when you at the end of your ropes and there's nowhere to go. Where your hope come from? Where your hope come from? If you can't tell me where your hope come from, tell me what you do when the walls are closing in and you can't find a friend. Where your hope come from? Tell me where your hope come from. The answer is that you can't see the hope. Your vision blurred, too many images, kaleidoscope. Me, I got all kinds of hope. So when this world crash and burn out, cross-reference the father's notes. The cross represents blessed hope. The cross represents life. Life after comatose. Come about that vegetable state. You know the word, keep you strong. Come and eat your vegetables, baby. Cause this money can't save you. In this world ever changing. People can't help that they flaky. They gon' flip and they fly. Plus tomorrow ain't promise. Don't put your faith in the clock. Just stay faithful and watch. Cause the Father is nigh. He gon' crack that sky open if you ready. You can't tell me where your hope come from. Tell me what you do when you at the end of your ropes and there's nowhere to go. Where your hope come from? Where your hope come from? If you can't tell me where your hope come from, tell me what you do when the walls are closing in and you can't find a friend. Where your hope come from? Tell me where your hope come from. The answer is you can't see the hope. It's a blood, it's burn like a better guard your heart. Everything that glitters ain't gold. I grew up around old folks and cliche quotes. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Better guard your heart, this world is cold. What's the point of deep pockets and a shallow mind? The grass ain't greener on the other side. It ain't nothing like it's advertised. A bunch of smoking mirrors and grand illusions. It'll leave you with swollen tear ducts for this world's amusement. They dangle the bait, you jumping through hoops just to get what you see on the tube. The more that you gain, the more that you lose. Sight of what matters. Life is but a vapor, don't get distracted. Bankrolls going to votes, don't end up captive. Cause you can't leave this earth with nothing that you purchase. Salvation is free. Salvation is key to guard your heart. Better guard your heart. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Look, I know that you grown, you know everything, and yeah, I did too. So if I could save you some trouble, I would. The stuff I've been through, trying to fit in just to be ostracized and cast aside a couple pats on the back, yeah, patronized. Like, good job, guard your heart, for it is the source of life, determines the course of life. A fork in the road, don't know where to go. You'll know if your heart is right. So you gotta guard it, protect it. Where's your armor? Got enemies waiting for autumn. That shall fall you a lamb to the slaughter. They'll try to manipulate ya, convince you to leave your father, help emancipate you, then leave you out there waiting, stranded on your own. Everything that shimmers ain't silver, what glitters ain't gold. Better guard your heart. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Guard your Now can I start by saying thank you for your goodness and your grace. I'm undeserving of your mercy, but you keep me just because it's your love surrounding me. It's not what you've done, it's who you are, and you're my everything. Got my heart singing. I love you, I love you. So much joy you bring. Protector, provider, deliverer. Lord, you're my strength, where my help coming from. When my mind was reprobated, you just stepped in and saved me. And it's nothing that I did, you just blessed me with your favor. Just because it's your love surrounding me. It's not what you've done, it's who you are, and you're my
welcome to another edition of T-Limbs Presents The Bridge. I'm Sean, Teresa, my little brother Jermaine. This is Michael on the end. He's today's guest, and we have a lot of information that we want to share with you guys. We want to send a shout out to Reg and Ron, the gurus that make it happen. A Francis, what's up, guy? What's happening? We got a gentleman that's helping us put this together, Stan. So Stan is the stand-in. So you know something now. I'm going to use that as a reference as to, you know something now, when they knock one of us down, three of us stand up.
All right.
So again, Stan is the stand-in. Stan
like
the
that.
man.
I like
but
that.
Anyway, hey, Twyla. Hey, Twyla's out there beating the bush. Again, like I said, this thing with reparations and the Recovery Act, we're John Cheeks, our third podcast. If you don't know about that, check that out. As a matter of fact, John Cheeks will be here next week to inform you a little bit more. So like I said, subscribe. This is about you. This is for you. Folks, we need to get together. You know something? They are fighting hard against this unification of us.
Yes.
Now, having said that, let you know that Teresa's at Mount Rainier with John Cheeks and Minister Mustafa, and this is the UN organization. So, and it's regarding reparations recovery for American descendants of slaves, hashtag ADOS, in Haiti and Caribbeans that were slaves in the U.S. So I just wanted to let you guys know, you know, like I said.
And that's Twyla.
That's Twyla.
Yeah.
We're not just sitting up here talking about it, we're being about it.
Right.
And we want you to be about it.
Yes.
We want you to put your brick in this foundation because it's for you and it's going to affect us all.
Yes.
Now, before I get into my little editorial, how y'all doing?
We're doing good.
How you doing there, Mike?
We're
This
hanging in
brother is
there.
going to really inspire you guys.
Yes.
Little bruh,
Yes, sir.
happy belated birthday, man.
Thank
But,
you.
know, so he was out on location. Although, you know, he was doing his birthday thing, he was still doing our thing. He was still doing y'all thing. So it's really an us thing. So again,
The irony, let me, I'll let you finish.
oh, go ahead, man.
The irony of that situation is something we just actually talked about, the Nipsey Hussle situation, which we are not going to let go by without having a show dedicated to. So we're thinking Easter Sunday, right?
Easter
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah, we're going to have
Easter
a
Sunday.
special edition of The Bridge hosted by none other than
Little brother Jermaine.
So tune in, subscribe, because like I said, it's important. Actually, I want to send our condolences out to the Hustle family.
Yes.
The whole city of LA. I just so happened to be in LA when it happened.
Wow.
Right.
City.
The whole city of
Wow.
LA. You know something too now. This dude was trying to make a difference. First and foremost, let me say this to the Bloods and to the Crips and MS-13. Hey man, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man, because you know something, y'all making a difference. Let's show them that we can unify.
Yes.
Let's show them. They're trying to blame it this murder, not killing, this murder
Assassination.
on you guys. You know something. So they are fighting this unification. And like I said, y'all was with his program, man. So let's keep it going for Nipsey, man.
Yes.
And this
Marathon continues.
just to show you that it was a setup. Guess who this cat's attorney is?
Well, I already know. Is it Mark Framley? Whatever. Not Mark.
Okay.
From the OJ case.
Yeah, Tom Darden
Right,
or
Tom
Joe Darden.
Darden.
What the hell his name is?
Darden. I know it's
Darden.
Darden. but I don't
Dude,
remember
he
his first
he
name.
don't went from OJ to no J. you know what I mean? So again, now first and foremost, this dude ain't got no money. This dude and Tom Darden or whatever Darden is he's not a court appointed attorney. So the court didn't appoint this dude to this dude.
So somebody paid
So
him.
somebody, yeah.
Wow,
When
I
did he
didn't know
plead?
that.
Huh?
Did you hear what he pleaded?
Who,
Not
him?
guilty.
I don't know what.
Yeah, he pleaded not guilty. I'm telling you.
That Sambo. But you know something, again, take the price tag off your head, black folks, please. You know something, now, again, I'm not saying if he's guilty or not guilty. I haven't read all the evidence, and they didn't pick me for the jury, but anyway. Check this out. Now, as I said, the dude ain't got no money. This dude was court appointed by Tom Darden, who was the prosecutor in the OJ case. Now, you're going to go from here to here. And again, so that's saying that they paid this Sambo, and if you didn't do it, you ain't a Sambo. But anyway, why they pointing the finger at you?
We're going to get it. We're going to get
I
into
don't
it.
advocate
We'll get into it.
death, but he a dead man walking. He can't live in the streets if he's guilty. He can't go to the pen because Bubba waiting on him. You know, Bubba in them. And if you are involved with this, the people that paid you is going to knock you off so you don't run your mouth. So where you going to go? What have you got out of this? Nothing. But anyway. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's for another show. But Jermaine, we're
Yeah,
excited.
I'm
'cause
saying that.
We're
Tune
gonna
into
say-
that
we're
show.
gonna
Yes,
get
so
into it.
we're gonna get
I'm
into
gonna be
it.
in the audience. I'm gonna be that guy. Hey, you know. One more thing. This is concerning Akron, which is my village where I was raised. Akron now, crime rate or murder rate has surpassed Cleveland.
Wow.
Akron is like this, the size of my
Wow.
pinky finger
Wow.
nail. Cleveland is like this.
Wow. Wow.
This has surpassed this in
Wow.
murder in
Wow.
Akron. Really, Akron. I blame that on a number of people. These politicians or these public figures ain't for you, and these weak ass,
Hey, bleep.
these weak bleep parents slapping them upside the head. Wake the bleep up. You know something? Y'all are selling your kids out. I got 2 grandsons that live there. And you know something? And all this mess that's going on, you know something? Y'all need to do something. They are selling you out. They are selling the city out. Get involved. Also, on a lighter note, man, I was hot.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Passion.
another Kofi Yay K. If I messed your name up, I'm sorry. But this guy is on Apollo. He took second. He's in the running for the final. This dude is a keyboardist. This dude is extraordinary.
Wow.
So Akron support. Black people support each other. Oh, right quick. If you want to find out what's going on, look up hashtag just another kid from Akron. Akron, we are trying to do it. Akron, you're going to have to do it for yourselves. You're going to have to get up off that couch. Young folks, y'all going to have to come together. Y'all don't, and you know something? First and foremost, this stuff ain't even gang related. These just, folks just shoot each other just because. They know how to, they get a twitch in their finger. I don't know what the hell, beep you want to call it. But anyway, I'm excited about that because, you know something, that's my hometown.
Well, part of it is I like to look at the unemployment rate in Akron, too.
Well,
Because when people don't have money to make it,
the system by design is designing these actions, and see, we have to be smarter than that. Just like Nipsey was trying to do and organize and educate, but see, you know, so again, they can't have that unification. So, you know, when one goes down, as I said, let three pop up.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So we have to get involved, man. You know, because it's affecting us. These cats ain't playing. You know what I mean? They don't want us to unify. They don't want Africa to unify with Black Americans or Americans blacks who are in America. And these people want to unify with us. Yes. So they're trying to keep this separation. Divided, you know, divide and conquer. United we stand. Oh, man. I know.
Whew, what a commentary.
I have to fan the like I'm in church. Where my church fan at? You know what I mean? But anyway,
right.
Teresa.
But I guess
guys doing?
we're doing pretty good. But I guess it's a real good lead-in for what this book is about.
Actually, yeah.
And I would encourage each of you, before I make the formal introduction for Michael Edmondson, to pick up a copy of this book, One Man's Journey of Faith. It's a coming-of-age book. It's a real quick and interesting read. So wherever you are, you can get it on Amazon.com. But please pick up a copy. We're going to give some information at the end where you can kind of collect or find this book. But that's a way to start, is to support one another. To also find out about what others have done to succeed. Michael is not just an author. He's an entrepreneur, and not just any entrepreneur, but this guy owns a big-time trucking business. Yeah. Already small, ready to, he says small, but I call it big time. Because when you see those trucks and like it's about to
he's trying to be modest over here.
No. This guy is truly making it happen, not talking about happening. And we need to do what we have to do to support him. I want you guys to pick up this book and find out about his story. And so, Michael, we just want to welcome you. How are you doing today?
Welcome, Mike.
Good. So I want to start with, tell me what made you decide to write a story about your life? What was the impetus?
Basically just wanting to give back and let the young, the youth know that a lot of things that they're doing is just repetitive. Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing that's just coming up, but they're taking it to another level. If you're going to do something, it's like have a plan.
Yes, I like that.
Even though not what you're doing is right. When you're in the streets. But I always had a plan, no matter what I did. So I just figured, let me try to feed some of that information back out. And actually, I'm just a victim of some consequences, and there's consequences that come with whatever you do.
Right.
So any choice that you make, you just gotta be able to accept the consequences that come with your choices.
Yeah, and I want to give a little bit, because usually whenever somebody goes through or makes the wrong mistake, people want to dwell on the negative and the bad.
Right.
But I want you to talk about, and we have his beautiful mom here, in the audience, Miss Edmondson, who's gorgeous.
Hey, Mom.
Approaching 70 and looking better than most 40 and 50-year-olds. But tell us about growing up. How was your life growing up on the streets of Baltimore?
Well, as a child, I did, children things, run around, playing all types of games, sports. I always been into sports. But, maybe at the high school, I worked for the bank. After that, I didn't start getting in trouble till after school, after high school. I waited till I finished school to get in trouble.
Interesting way of going about it.
Hold on. Mom, you know something, Moms, you had to do school, because Moms wasn't there. I can look at her and tell.
Yeah, pretty much.
She went upside your head, you had to get accurate.
Pretty much. Yeah, and it's just like, you get caught up, you see things, you like things, and it's just like, well, let me try this, try that, and this one thing leads to another, But like I said, at the end of the day, I still always had a plan, So I always wanted family, kids, and
you had a value system.
Right, I always had a value system.
Yeah. Can you talk in your book? I think we are Imagination Press. We were the publishers of the book. But one of my favorite stories is your relationship also to your grandmother. You want to talk a little bit about her and growing up and some of the values she taught you growing up?
Just basically coming up in the house with, the women, which was my grandmother, my mom's aunt. It's just that she, got sick, and just I just was there to, help take care of her.
Help take care of her.
And just I just like taking care of her, and just was respectful, Well, back in the day, they teach you how to be respectful to your elders.
Right.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
We've gotten away from that.
And if you get in trouble with somebody on the street, it's like, okay, they got permission to knock you upside your head.
Right.
Without getting bashed, so.
Yeah.
But other than that, she just, she always been there for me.
Yeah.
Taught me,
one of the things about growing up, and I think that in looking at the inner city and discussing the issue with Akron, is we typically forget about what that process is like growing up the street. When people look at young African-American males in particular, they're thinking, oh, they're just the worst things walking. But a lot of these men grew up in fine homes. A lot of them knew, parents have taught them, you can speak to that, Mom, a value system. And so we've got to be mindful of that. And like you said, you had principles. It wasn't like you were just wilding out and not knowing that what you were endeavoring to do wasn't right. You were brought up with a value system and whatnot.
And more importantly, I'm going to switch.
Well,
go ahead, Jermaine.
I don't know, okay, so it's twofold. Yes, that's true. I can't speak for your situation personally, but coming from the inner city, like my mother, grandmother, I had that foundation, that base. At the same time, environment, circumstance, neighborhood, situation, it applies pressure, so to speak, and you're going to do things that you believe in that moment at that time is what you're supposed to be doing. So you don't quite know that that's wrong. You know it's wrong, but you don't quite, because.
Do you know it's wrong, but you're justifying it because
at that point in time?
At that point in time, no, you don't understand that. Listen, I don't own this property or this neighborhood I'm claiming. This is my life. These are my homies. These are my brothers. So we gonna do what we gonna do. So no matter what, the right thing to do is to look out for them, no matter what I have to do that. So at that point, that is, for me, that's the right thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Now, was that your experience, Michael?
Yeah, similar. You bond with guys in the area, and it's territorial and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know something now. Let me ask both of you young men this. You said you always had a plan. even in the knuckleheaded years, you always had a plan.
So when he said that, I didn't want to cut him off, but that's old school. So that's the problem with the
youth
disconnected. The youth now think the objective is cool. Like that's what they wanna aspire to be.
This big
I don't even
time.
know what you want to call
I
it.
think it
Yeah,
comes from
but
the music.
right, the
You
objective.
see this, because when you come out, you see this and you see that, and you say, okay, you adapt to that. Yeah,
True.
You know,
Okay.
to your
But it
environment.
was always for us.
Each
to get out,
generation
though.
has that type of, because back in our day it was Superfly. I am so happy, man. I avoided that like the plague. You know, no, seriously. Brothers was coming out with the perms and they had the little, the Superfly suits on. And you got stigmatized when people, see you. And I stayed away from that. During that era, and then, like I said, now this is how it evolved. When the pagers came out, some cats had like 10 damn pagers, all around, and you got stigmatized. And so, ain't none of them doctors. And so, I stayed away from pagers because, it looked cool. Sometimes cell phones wasn't out then, but,
Oh, they were. That's when they had the big.
Yeah, they was like this.
Right.
Matter of fact, now, it was a dude that was riding the bus. This is before cell phones, when cell phones was this big. Dude get on the bus and I said, come on, man, you ain't talking to no damn body. You on the bus. But it looked cool, but T-Mobile and all them cats, I don't even know who the provider was back then. But again, so I can understand the environment does have some type of
a pull
a
pull
and
or
see,
attraction.
you wanted to be one of the cool cats. You know what I mean, and which sometimes can lead you into. But I'm not saying that you can't be one of the cool dudes, but certain stuff I just wasn't gonna do.
But but see, listen, that's when you have that option though. That's what I'm telling you. You gotta.
We all have that option. Yeah.
You don't when you're not exposed to it. That's what, if you don't. I understand. This is the whole big deal with the Nipsey thing. Like, this is what Nipsey understood. The world at large sees it as the majority common sense. We all have a choice. But if you've been born in this, you've been bred in this, and then you've never seen anything else other than that, this is your reality. So what you think we all have a choice on, I don't really have that choice.
Okay.
So
it could be your reality, but something. Now, he thought that was his reality. But he also came to the conclusion that he could change that.
He was able to get, which so many are. So you have a few that are able to get out, and they get out and they see the world and they realize, oh man, I've been missing all of this.
Yeah.
And they live a life, but they miss the fact that in that process of when they wake up and realize, oh man, it's a big world. What I came from, they don't know about this world either. And this is the difference between whoever and Nip. It's like, okay, I understand. Like, yes, by the grace of God, I made it out.
Right. But
I'm not going to make it out and occasionally drop something in there, throw some money at a problem and say, well, here you go. You see I'm giving back. I'm gonna make my now reality their now reality as well by bringing what I see out here back home.
Yeah.
So that the world can see home, but home can see the world as well.
Yeah.
So, Michael, you want to talk about how you ended up as the discussion. That's okay. But how you ended up in knowing that your mom had brought you up right. She wasn't having it. No, how you ended up going into what I call the underworld, or that world that wasn't so savory. What was the process in your own thinking?
Basically, in the environment, seeing nice things and what's going on in the environment. Okay, I just felt like I wanted to be part of that. And I just started living the lifestyle, doing the different things that, brought me income. Yeah.
Now, what I find interesting is by you being an entrepreneur, you were very entrepreneurial even in that aspect.
Yeah.
And what allowed you, what were the things that you picked up doing that? Because I think in the book, and the one thing I loved about the book is I think we really went into, a lot of times people see the activity that people engage in and they think there's nothing to it, but it's still a business.
Yeah, it is.
It's still a real business. And I like to also, we always look at the inner city young men, and we point our finger and we talk about them, but we're not looking at the other side of it, which is the big corporate players. Because certainly no inner city kid is bringing drugs from another country here. Exactly. So I think that the process of that kind of lifestyle needs to be looked at fully, and we need to stop just pointing a finger at our young. I think we're affected adversely. We got, in other words, the wrong end of the stick. But you want to talk a little bit about that whole process in life?
Well, you can't. I can't. You know, like you say, it doesn't just get here.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always somebody that's bigger than the street. There's always somebody you got to answer to.
Yes.
You know, and whether that's somebody is bringing it in town or you going to get it, but like you say, to bring it in the States is something that has to be brought in bigger than us.
Yes.
You know, so we don't. A lot of people, you're not looking at the big part of it. You just feel like you want to get in.
Get your piece.
It starts off with you want nice tennis and clothes, impress the girls, you know, jewelry, cars. So that's the thing that drive your mind to think otherwise. You know.
You want to talk about what the consequence was for you in that whole process. What eventually happened?
Well, the consequence is going to be for everybody. Is either you going to get out, which is real hard a lot of the times. You know, you're going to get locked up. You're going to be in a situation that I'm in, as far as getting shot. You know, so that's your three choices. You would, some people don't live to talk about it.
Right.
You know, so death is definitely one of the consequences.
well, you know something, Michael. As in your case, in a lot of cases, you know something. God had a purpose for you. You know what I mean? And in that situation or environment, however you want to say it, a lot of people they don't look to God, and God don't enter their lives until something tragic happened. Sometimes you got to lay on your back to look up. You know what I mean? And now, what are you going to do? You're going to succumb to the situation, or you're going to rise up.
Right.
And so here's you rising up. And the things that you're doing, are you rising up so you can teach the next young man, hold up, man. You ain't got to go out like that. This is you giving back. You know what I mean? And so this is what the bridge is trying to do. We're trying to bridge that gap to let these young cats know and these old cats know that something. We got to unify. We got to come together because something. They are heaping more stuff in the game, and the game has changed now. The game has evolved from my point, from Superfly to the Jerry Curls. I guess that was the crack era. To now, whatever that's going on now, the hustle has changed.
The game hasn't changed, just the way it's played.
Exactly.
The game itself is just dangling meat, and it's basically what he said, like. Cars, money, cars, clothes, jewelry, power is what it's thought. Again, here we go. When you're in a situation where we aren't taught interest rates and credit scores and how to build, we aren't taught that. So what we're taught is how to record some information to pass some tests to be part of the workforce. That's what we're really taught.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, there are a lot of Fortune 500 CEO minds in the hood,
In the hood, yeah.
And you can see that based on how we run certain games,
If you know how to manage it from that, it's the same. It's the same standpoint.
Absolutely, that's
whether it's legal or illegal.
So,
like I said, even working, when I used to work, it's the same thing. You still have somebody to answer to. They have somebody to answer to. It's just you knowing your position.
Well, how did you make that transition because this book is, and again, pick up a copy of his book, One Man's Journey of Faith. How did you make that journey to faith? What was the pivotal point that kind of changed your whole mindset?
Well, faith was always instilled in me, as a kid, mother, grandmother, uncles. Everybody was always into church. But it's just, you go the other way. That don't mean you lose faith. It's just, you're not respecting it,
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So.
Well, let me ask you a question. As a young man finding my way with certain things, through certain stuff, at what point for you did you know, what was your transition point? Like, what was the moment where you said, you know what? Yeah, I'm sure you understand what moment I'm saying. Yeah.
Sometimes it's more of you gotta get pushed out. More than just, it's hard just to walk away sometimes. With something you're accustomed to.
Certain lifestyle.
Right. You're certain. So it's more of, okay, I got locked up, then been shot. So, and then you realize. When when you're in that prison, it's like you miss your family, kids. You can't just wake up and take them out, spend time with them like you used to. And then, it just comes a time when you realize, like, enough is enough, And I started losing, a lot of things, Yeah. Whether it was, girlfriends, wives, vehicles, properties, So when I went to jail, I lost a lot,
But
stuff
some
I built.
guys, like you're saying, don't though. They wind up in that situation again, or whatever the case is. They don't get it. So
now I've been in a situation a couple times, So
I
beyond, is a part of life, but it's always in you. But you got to know when enough is enough, man.
And the prayers,
because
prayers help.
it affects when you realize the people that it affects.
That's what I was really trying to get at. That's why I was wondering where that point came in for you, because I've reached that point a few years ago where you understand, like, as a man with a family,
that's powerful.
you have you understand that your choices carry so much more weight than just what you feel, how happy you are. With the like you said, what the choice and consequences are. Yeah, you deal with those consequences, but your family suffers.
Right.
Well, something. It's not about you. Once you realize that it's not about you, you know what I mean. Whether you have children, a wife, girlfriend, or not, if you're alive, you had a mother, a grandmother, and a father. So the choices that we make. We may not care, but they suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't come over for Sunday dinner no more. You know what I mean, or whatnot, or just to see your face. That is that, and it affects them, man. Somehow. And as a mother. I'm just saying this as a mother. Of course, I ain't no mother, but anyway, I might be a mother, something to other folks. But as a mother, she birthed you, she carries you for 9 months. Whether y'all get along or not, you are still her child.
That's right.
And so, I don't want to see you out there doing this or doing that. You know what I mean? And when we become so-called grown. I'm grown. I guess we go through that little defiant stage or whatever. But something, it's a learning process.
It's a learning,
everything
exactly.
It's a process, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what the book is about, man. It's a learning process.
The
process.
Matter of fact, the recipe.
The recipe.
You know what I mean? Now, if you want to make I'm gonna say it like this: if you want to make an upside down cake, right side up, get this book.
Right.
Okay? So, it leads you on the path to. Knowledge is power. I'm sure everybody heard. So the more that you know, the more information that you have, you can make wise decisions. Now, I'm not sitting up here like I'm a saint. You know what I mean? Because I did some things too, and again, losing my parents at an early age, I had to make some decisions. You know what I mean? I had to make some choices, and Akron ain't really hood. We had hoods in Akron, and there's hoods everywhere. But you know, I made some decisions. You know, like I said, I did a little hustling, did a little bit of this, did a little bit of that, but in my mind, and I was a big dude, I ain't built for jail, so certain things I wasn't gonna do, you know what I mean? And I had no speed, so you know what I mean. Right. I'm just saying, you know something, but you know, as you age, as you mature. You know something. The Bible said when I was a child, you know, I used to do childish things. You know what I mean? So, them words in the Bible, they have meaning. And you know something. Now, again, even with that, like you were saying, Mike, you know, you was taught faith, and so you have to train those kids up.
Yes.
And put that in them. And guess what? Even though we go through our knucklehead stage, when we land in that situation or whatever, who we call?
Jesus.
Thank you. And then mama.
Yeah, and then mama.
You know what I mean?
But I want you to talk about, for me and working with you on this book, my most important story was the book, The Maximized Life, Ivy Hilliard. And tell me about the person that, in that process, I think that person gave your mom the book or whatever. Talk about that, because it's important for other people out there who are mentors to never give up. And so you want to talk a little bit about that?
There was this gentleman from church, Brother Derek, gave my mother the book to send to me when I was locked up. And it was the book, The Maximized Life, The 52-Day Journey. So just, you know, basically, you know, put you on point on what your purpose is in life, and from a spiritual side. And I kind of read that book and just, you know, took on a journey from that book. You know, helped me find my purpose. You know, be able to say what my purpose was in life. Yeah. So.
And I think.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
How did you pull it all together?
I don't know. Hey, but see, I had time on my hands, and pastor before I turned myself in and stuff. The pastor had dinner.
Was it Frank?
Yeah, Frank Reed.
Yeah,
he's a bishop now.
Reed,
Bishop Reed, and he took me out to eat, and we talked, and he just told me, he said, "Man, make the best out of it. Don't let it, you know, deteriorate you." So I told him, I said, "Man, I'm finally gonna write my book in there while I'm in there." I always said I was gonna write a book. So when I got in there time, I just, you know, put parts together, talk to different people in there, and they help you, you know, just help me format it and stuff like that. And just write everything down, and then once you get it edited there, you know, a lot of the editors help you, you know, put it in the right order. Like
you know, going through, you could have stopped and you could have did your book at any time.
Yeah.
But you still had some more chapters to add.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
When it was completed, you know, your journeys, okay, it's time to put it on paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we all experience that, and again, I say through the grace of God that, okay, now he sat you down long enough for you to
be on purpose.
to be on purpose.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So,
and I want to say something about Michael. The one thing about his book, when he brought the manuscript to Imagination Press, is that he is a phenomenal writer. And there are a lot of African American males and out there that have not even thought about writing because this didn't happen, that didn't happen. But there are young gems, to me, diamonds, that are there that we can pick up, because this story is a very good book. We did editing, but he is a man of principle and he applies a lot of principles. So it was a pleasure to work with him in this book. We did some editing, but not nearly as much as you would expect. And it's such a gripping and well-written story. Now I want to talk a little bit about your entrepreneurship. I want to talk about your trucking business and how you got into that.
I had a lot of endurance, but I basically started trucking business back in, I started out with a van service. I was doing that. meantime, working for the city, I brought a dump truck, a little, called hay hauler, because it wasn't a big dump truck like we got now. So I had a couple properties, so I brought that to, to clean out the properties. So I was doing that. Then as an incident happened about me getting shot. So actually I had a tractor too. So once after I got shot and got out the hospital and things of that sort, I drew some money from my properties and then took and invested in 2 box trucks. So I started the box truck business. I've been doing that. Went to prison, still had the box truck. When I came home, I started that back up. And I said, okay. Ran across a good friend of mine and was talking about, the different businesses as far as box truck, dump truck, and the tractors. Because when you're coming over into the, dump truck world, so I said, man, it's just too much to it, right? As far as a lot of things that they asked, but it wasn't as bad as the tractor that I brought. Once I got in, I found that out, and I just ventured out and started with the dump truck. Started with one about 2 years ago, and so box truck. I had a dump truck, the box truck, and I just purchased a new dump truck yesterday.
Woo, woo, woo.
Very good.
That's excellent. And I want to tell you, my favorite part about I think I was with you when you were buying one
the first
truck.
one, the first
and
one.
the thing I remember is his face. He was going through the process of trying to get the financial approval, and he's like, I'm going to get it. It was just no doubt. It was like, I don't care what, I'm going to get it. And when you got it, I think they charged you a high interest rate.
Yeah,
and his response was, that's okay. That means I'm going to work that much harder and pay it off before. So it's just, for me, you're one of my favorite people because of what you've overcome. And when the world said no, you just stood solid, stood still, and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So I wanted to ask you, as I know your message is for young people, if you could list just 2 major things that you think the youth need to do to to keep themselves on the path, what would you say that they are?
Well, one of the things, like I said, started that, education, because one of the things I didn't like to do was read, so, and them words today, like, there's some big words today, so the first thing is always, to read, but,
that's a good point.
Have a plan and start with, like he was saying, what's your name? Jermaine. Like Jermaine was saying, you got to teach them how to apply themselves to make money. To grow your, to start your own business, and it's not taught in school. There's a simple plan, like, when I was young, we loved Monopoly. But you never knew the importance of it.
Yes, yes.
So, like I said, I touched on it in the book just to, touch on it from a financial standpoint. So long as you learn your finances, how to handle your finances, you can accomplish anything from that standpoint,
Michael, let me cut you off for just a second, since you mentioned Monopoly. You play that totally different now, don't you? I am ruthless in that. I am ruthless. But, again, something as simple as that teaches you, give you some kind of inkling of how to
But you ain't paid attention. I never paid attention to it.
Exactly. We was just, having fun. But now...
I read Robert Kiyosaki. You ever read that? Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, that's an excellent learning book, man.
I find...
What's the name of that again?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
And it's funny you should mention that book, because to me, that book helped me escape the corporate world. It really put financing and I liken that book almost second to the Bible as one of the greatest reads.
Yeah.
So you're right, Michael. I would definitely, if you haven't picked up a copy, after you pick up Michael's book, One Man's Journey of Faith, then pick up Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I wanted to talk a little bit to Michael's mom and talk about Just tell us what you think about Michael's progress and just all of the things you've learned as a mother.
Well, I'm proud of him. He came a long way, I felt as though he always had in himself to do better than what he was doing. Which he did.
Yes.
And he came through with what he said he was going to do.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so I'm proud of him.
And that makes you feel really good because you know something, you trusted your son,
right?
And once he achieved his goal, not your goal, his goal, like wow. You know, and I strengthened.
I tried pushing him, but it was like it was up to him.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
You could say and say this to him and say that, but it's up to him which way you want to go.
Right,
which way he wanted to go with it.
Right. That's a good point.
So I was just there, just to be there for him.
And what did you do in the process when he wasn't listening to you?
Stories that you can tell.
I could tell some stories. But he wasn't really he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. So it wasn't like that he got beatings, you know, It's just certain things that you would do, you know, and you just, you know, and try to discipline them. Right.
Okay.
So I had to discipline them, you know, the way that I felt as though that I thought.
Well, you have to be proud.
I got a request, if you will. Give us that look. You know how parents give when they over there acting up and you can't get to them. Hey, Mike, how much you have flashbacks?
That's the look.
Together.
Well, in our final closing session, Mike, is there anything else you want to add or say to the audience?
No, I just appreciate the invite to be able to, you know, come out and speak, which y'all know I don't do much.
Yeah.
Right.
You did a great job.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And Jermaine, you want to do follow-up?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to walk the walk.
Okay.
Walk
the walk.
Okay. First off, thank you.
No problem.
Where do I even start? I had so many things going on. The first things first. I think on a bigger scale, talking about, like he said, as far as what we're taught, I don't even think, before you even get to the educational piece, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show about the disconnect between the generations. And I think what happened 50, 60 years ago and tradition was great because the tradition is what built foundation. However, everything has to evolve. Right. So for things to change, you have to merge the past with the present. And that hasn't been done in our communities because either we're stuck this way or that way. It's either, well, great grandma said we're supposed to do it this way, so we're going to do it this way, exactly this way, or I'm tired of the old way and we're going to do this whole new generation thing, and that has no base foundation. So when we're thinking evolving and talking education and talking how can we avoid these things, we first have to start with mindset. And that mindset has to come from the elder generation and saying, okay, yes, go to school and get an education, but that's not enough. It's not enough because they aren't teaching us to lead. They're teaching us to follow. The grade school thing is for the workforce, not for entrepreneurship or independence.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you understand that point, you have to give your kids something different. You have to start to seek different things and open different doors. But that starts with self. That starts with the mentality from each individual upward. So yes, the kids have their issues, don't get me wrong, but somebody had to birth these children. And at that point, you know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You also have to put God above everything.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. And I was, so here we go.
Now,
I was walking into that walk too.
That's a good point, Mama.
That said, I had an interesting conversation, kind of merging to that point, with this whole Nipsey Hussle thing, which we'll get into again, but because she brought up the one and only. Sometimes people want to look every which direction, but God does things in such a way that sometimes if you're really seeking God first, you'll understand what's going on. This man's effect in itself, if you're paying attention to it, was what it was. But if you know the numbers, if anybody knows, Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. Not only was he crucified at the age of 33, but obviously he was given up by Judas, which was one of his disciples in this situation. If you look at this whole play out, 2 weeks before the resurrection, and what Nipsey's actual name means, Hermes, which means God will rise. If you start looking at the time and the situation and how it's played out, you'll understand this is not by chance. So I have no doubt in my mind, based on faith, that man was Judas, and then somebody else wanted this man out, because anytime you have, God says, anytime you have somebody trying to push forth, the devil's job is to kill, steal, and destroy. So if you understand what you said, you take one out. So yeah, the only way for that to happen is for us to change the mentality now. Wow. And you have to change your mentality in a sense, like, here we go. It's not either or. I'm not saying, because I'm not here to beat anybody over the head with the Bible, because I understand that these kids, the attention span is different.
Right.
And God said every generation will get smarter but dumber. I'm sorry, smarter but dumber at the same time. They won't get wiser. They'll be sharp, but they'll be dumb as a brick as far as common sense. So once you get to that point, you understand that we all have to be accountable for our own decisions and our own choices and who we are as people. How do you think? How do you see? What are you doing to invest and add into someone else's life? The good book states you can't have your life if you're not willing to give it up. And that's the one main thing I get from this Nipsey Hussle thing. So at the end of the day, when you're saying walk the walk, you must walk the walk. You can't continue to point the finger at them. We continue to lay down and have children. We continue to create or procreate in this world. Somebody has to take accountability for what you're doing. So,
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I want to throw in right quick. You see, I have on the FBI hat, right? And this is going back to Nipsey Hussle's thing. There's some collusion in this, what's going on, like Jermaine just beautifully stated, Judas thing, how appropriate Easter's coming up.
I want to say this, I want to get it. You are a Nipsey Hussle. Like, people are looking at Nip because he's a rapper and the celebrity, but you are Nipsey Hussle. But what you're doing, like this
I like that.
Spins the narrative to get back to somebody else. It only takes one.
Right.
So let's not make this man's life about his money or celebrity, but his influence.
Wow.
And that's why I commend you on what you've done.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Nipsey Michael.
Okay,
well, like I said, I have this FBI hat on, and they asked, J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the FBI, which represented the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So this is Free Blacks Incorporated. So just like they changed the narrative about us, I'm changing their narrative. Free Blacks Incorporated.
I like
and
that.
So now free, now there's different forms of free. No, I don't have no change, but my mind is free. And to quote a phrase, free your mind, and those that know that song, you can finish the rest. But anyway.
Oh, I love that. That was good.
Free Blacks Incorporated. Okay. So it says FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was asked what in his opinion was the single greatest threat to the United States of America. He responded, Negro unity.
Wow.
Take a moment to listen.
What an appropriate end. Wow. That's excellent. Well, we thank Michael Edmondson.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes.
Anything that you have to promote or you want to get out there to the masses or whatever, feel free to come back and you're welcome here. This is your home.
This is your home.
Just like, that's what the bridge is about, is connecting these gaps and reuniting with our people and our neighborhoods and our communities. And so, again, like I said, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime. Your next book, because I ain't the only one.
No.
Your next book, Teresa, no.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to come back. With that, Teresa, you have anything else?
No.
Okay, I'm going to hit you with the Twyla move. Stand. She used to say, Ron, take us home, but Ron's not here. So stand's our stand in. Stand. Take us home. Very good, guys.
Now I'ma shed some light in your dimension. Don't you try to play the victim. You really think you're just born to die. Do nothing in the middle. Set fast living, sending money, drugs and women. But what about your purpose, feel vision? Hey, Hey, mister, you so shallow, how after every gal build them up just to let them down. Once she pregnant with your child, you don't ever come around. Hey, girl, you ain't no better, so worried about your shape. You neglect the time it takes to